I mean, what a game. First of all, that atmosphere was incredible. I mean, down the stretch of that game, it was so loud in there. You know, it was hard. You know, even as a coach, it was hard to signal play calls and get it. I mean, it was so loud. And, you know, our crowd pulled us through. I mean, we played a fantastic first half. You know, I thought everything we were trying to do was kind of coming to fruition. We were making it hard on Trace. You know, we had him in some tough spots. He wasn't able to kind of get going the way he has. And then in the second half, you know, they got some energy there. You know, I thought we had a chance when it was like at 15-17. I thought we had 2 or 3 just really wide open threes that might have got the game back to kind of 20 points. We missed them. They ran out and got a couple threes. And obviously Trace started getting more comfortable. I thought we got a little tired, which then hurt our defense. You know, our defense is so predicated on energy and effort, and because we're scrambling, you know, we're trapping the post, and you got to fly around on the backside. I thought we were late on some rotations. Trace made some great passes, big to big. They started getting comfortable, the game pressure, the momentum, and obviously we didn't do everything right. We had a really costly turnover there at the end, up 2. Thought we took a couple bad shots, you know, at times, but just, I mean, Titus Verhoeven's bucket was enormous. You know, Boo drove in there, dumped it off to Titus. I think he had Trace and Race right on him. He shot faked, he finished. They came down, scored. Boo hit a huge layup going to his left, you know, over Trace Jackson, which is not an easy feat. You know, and then, you know, obviously they scored again, and then we turned it over. It was tied. I did not want to take a timeout because I felt like we had our best guy with the ball with space. You know, we had a matchup we liked. We had the floor open. Had I called timeout, I would have tried to diagram that. I would have tried to get him the ball with space, you know, with an opportunity to make a play. So we let it play out. You know, I thought he had the presence of mind to kind of wait to just the right time so that if he missed the shot, it would have been overtime. But fortunately, he made it because we were running on fumes, I thought, you know, emotionally, with energy, everything that this week has meant. And, man, so proud of our guys. I mean, they deserve all this. You know, it's about them. You know, for them now to get to 10 wins, I think for the second time ever, you know, in school history, you know, the opponents that we've gone toe-to-toe with and had an opportunity to beat. And, you know, now put ourselves in position through 15 games to really play for something that really matters, you know, being right there in the league race, you know. And, you know, I like I said, I'm glad for the guys that they can kind of get the monkey, because everything talks about tourney talk. And we're going to the tourney, you know, so that's great. You know, now we can just focus on getting better and continuing to figure out how we can be the best we can be and shore some things up and hopefully find some more wins down the stretch.
Great question. Right here. Coach, you talked about being confident that you guys are going to make the NCAA tournament. Just now you have 2 straight wins over top 14 teams. You feel like your team should be ranked as well?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really care. You know, I mean, I think it's all subjective. It's fine. I mean, we're the same people that would rank us would be the same people that picked us last in the league. So to me, it's all subjective. I mean, whether we're ranked or not, our guys believe in themselves. You know, I think the best way you get confidence is by learning how to win, you know, and learning how to win maybe when you don't play at your very best. You know, the Purdue game, we played at our very best down the stretch. This game, there were mistakes made. You know, we had turnovers, we took bad shots, we had defensive, but we still found a way to win. And that's the mark of a really tough, gritty team when you can do that.
To the back.
Coach, Boo Buie, 3 of the final 4 shots, and the other one was an assist to Verhoeven.
Yeah.
What can you say about his performance today?
Just big time. I mean, and he's been that way, you know, all year. I'm so proud of him. You know, there's no one, you know, who's been more loyal and committed to this program and what we're trying to build over the past 4 years than Boo. You know, we put the ball in his hands as a freshman. A lot of you guys watched through some of those growing pains with him. You know, he showed flashes, but there were also times where you saw, man, is he ever going to get it? But we stuck with him. He continued to develop. He worked hard. He's just playing with so much confidence. He's gotten so much stronger. You know, his command out on the floor, his balance, he's getting to his spots. He's not only scoring, but finding other guys. And I said coming into this year, if we were going to be a team that was going to be a factor, then our guards would have to play to an all-conference caliber, and they've done that, and spearheaded by Boo. I mean, to this point, I'd be hard-pressed to find that he wouldn't be a first-team all-league guy. You know, you look at his numbers, you look at what his team's done now, is winning. You know, he's played terrific, and I'm happy he's on my team. When you have a guard like that, it gives you a chance, and he was terrific tonight.
Tyberry was a team high plus 13. I know plus minus can sometimes be a complicated stat, but what did it mean to you to see him stay confident, play such a great game, and then also hit that big three down the stretch?
Yeah, obviously hit a big shot. He'd been struggling, you know, with his shot. It's getting a little flat. You know, I've been working with him a little bit. I got to get back in the lab with him the next couple days. But, you know, for him to step up and make that big one after he missed his first 5 or 6 threes, you know, when the game was kind of in the balance there. But I thought his defense was terrific. You know, we put him on Hood Schifino, you know, most of the second half. We felt that matchup. You know, we had Boo and Chase off the ball on their wings, and we felt confident putting Ty on Hood Schifino, who's one of the best, you know, young guards in the country. And I thought he did a great job. You know, he got some steals, he got some rebounds. You know, his energy's infectious, and that's the one thing with him. You know, he struggled a little bit the past couple games, and I felt like he's lost a little bit of his energy out there, and we need him. We need him to be upbeat and energetic because we feed off of that. And I thought he found other ways. That's what I've talked to him about. Like, when you're not shooting well, find other ways to impact the game. You know, and he did that tonight with his defense and his rebounding.
Chris, what do you make of the chance toward Miller?
What's that?
What do you make of the chance?
I didn't like it.
Miller?
Didn't like it. You know, I'm not a big fan of that. It's not something I condone. To me, first of all, Miller is a part of our family. You know, it was not a contentious thing. I love Miller. He gave us 3 great years. I'll be forever indebted to what he brought to the program. He knows there's no bigger fan of him than me. I would have liked it to be a little bit more cheer for us. You know, I mean, I'm always big on that. It was so loud. I wish I had the power to kind of tell everybody to stop. But, you know, I wasn't a fan of that because, first of all, the way I feel about Miller, you know, what he was in this program. But I'm not a big believer in that. I just think, you know, cheer loud for us. You know, don't, you know, we were super loud. We didn't, you know, down the stretch, our fans were amazing. And it was towards us. You know, it wasn't directed toward the other team. So obviously it wasn't something that I was a fan of and something that I wish wouldn't have happened.
Hey, you talked about yesterday about how you were trying to keep these guys even keel after the win
Yeah.
over Purdue. Early on, I know you said you made some mistakes, but did you kind of get a feeling that wasn't going to be a problem tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think our guys know how good Indiana is. I mean, what were they 8-1 in their last 9 games? I mean, there was no hotter team in the conference than Indiana. They just went to Michigan and won. They'd beaten Purdue. You know, they'd gone to Illinois and won. You know, Trace was playing at an ungodly level. He was good. Him and Edie are by far the 2 best players in the league. So, you know, I think probably what helped us after the Purdue game was knowing that Indiana was coming to town. And our guys certainly celebrate. I wanted them to on Sunday. I mean, you do something like that, as special as that was, to, you know, I said, hey, guys, go out and have fun and enjoy this win. But when we come back tomorrow, we got to dig in on Indiana. And I thought we did. You know, we got enough maturity in our locker room where our guys understood. And I think you saw that by how we started the game. You know, if there was a residual effect, we wouldn't have been up by 21 points in the first half. I mean, our guys were really ready to play. I just thought Indiana made a few adjustments. They got comfortable. We got tired. And then all of a sudden, bang, it's a ball game. And we really had to grind it out at the end.
Just what does it say? I mean, top wins over top 25 teams in back-to-back games. I think that's the first time in about 13, 14 years.
Only 13, 14? I'm used to them saying 40 or 50 years.
Well, I don't know what 3 straight is.
Yeah, okay.
So
All right.
But what does that say about just where this program is? And do you think that Purdue game kind of gave them some confidence going into this one?
Yeah, I definitely do. But we've had other really good wins. I mean, like, you know, I don't think many people have won in Assembly Hall this year. Correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't followed, but I don't know if anybody has. I mean, I don't know how many people have gone into the Breslin Center this year and won, you know, at Michigan State. So, you know, Purdue was a great win, but it's been building throughout the year, you know, to be able to, you know, go to Wisconsin in the 6th game in 13 days and grind one out late in the game. You know, I think all of those things build up your confidence. It's like anything. If you lose all those games, then you start to have negative thoughts. and we've been through that in the past. It's almost like let's invent a new way to lose tonight. But now our guys are finding ways to win, because they believe they should. They believe in each other. We have a couple elite guards that are playing at a high level, and everybody else is playing their role, to the best of their ability.
Chris, Boo's been coming for a long time, but I think sometime in the middle of this year, you're not forcing shots. I mean, you're talking about when did you see that sort of crystallize? Like, he knows when to give it up in the hugest moments.
Yeah, I just think this year there's just been a calmness to him. There's been a maturity. I mean, he's playing like a senior, and I think he's comfortable with who he is. He believes in himself. He's always had amazing confidence. I mean, since day one, he's always believed. And to me, that's half the battle. If you want to be a good player, you got to believe. You got to be your own biggest cheerleader. So he's always had that self-belief. But I just think his experiences over time, when to attack, when to kind of pull it back. He's a much better defensive player, than he's ever been. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if somebody had told you, I don't know, November, hey, mid-February, you'll be working on getting better, not be worrying about where you're going to be in the postseason, what would you have said?
Let's go. Obviously you come into every year, wanting to be at that level, wanting to win. The Big Ten is very hard league to compete in. I mean, you guys have seen, we have so many quality teams in this league, so many great coaches, so many great players. For our guys now to have our 10th conference win through 15 games is remarkable, not only for them, but, historically for this program. We've never been in this territory, and it's a testament to these guys. They're creating history. They're making their mark on this program, which is really cool. That's what I said. I mean, that was what a big reason why I wanted to coach at Northwestern, because I felt like it was an opportunity to do things that had never been done and in your life. And that's kind of what we tell kids in recruiting. We might not have the tradition yet, or the pros, or the winning, or all that, but you're seeing now our crowds are as good as anyone out there, because we're starting to show we're a team that's good, we can compete, and our guys are leaving an incredible mark and legacy on this program, and they deserve it. The negativity they dealt with the whole offseason, the uncertainty, the talk about where the program was at, and for those guys in that locker room to just ignore that noise and just to say, no, that's not going to be the story. That's not going to be the narrative. We're going to figure out how to win. And, that's what's been fun for me, is being able to be those guys' coach, because they're taking me on a hell of a ride right now. It's been really fun.
Coach, you mentioned watching the maturation of Boo, and to an extent the rest of this team throughout the year. Just 4 turnovers this entire game today. That's an excellent mark. How important is it to you that the offense, even when the shots aren't necessarily falling, that at least you're getting those good looks and not giving your opponent a chance?
Yeah, I mean, our margin for error is very slim on the offensive end. We have our limitations. We have a hard time at times where, we have a hard time scoring. We're getting better with that. I think we've gotten better. But when you turn the ball over, it makes it even worse. So we've, it's something I feel like that over the span of 10 years, we've done a lot of things not so well. But I think we've always kind of valued the ball. If you look at it, it's something that we've really tried to focus on, is knowing that we need to value our possessions. We need to try to get a good shot, or at least a shot on every possession. And they were pressing us the whole game. I mean, they were picking us up. They were trying to get into our legs. They were trying to wear us down. Now, I wish we would have only been at 3 turnovers, because the 4th was pretty costly. But overall, to only have 4 turnovers tonight was pretty remarkable, the guys.
We're now at the point of the year where you're starting to play most games. It's teams you've already played once. What goes into that scouting process when it's a team you've already played and you're already familiar with? I
think that's the hardest part about coaching in the Big Ten, because the respect level you have for the other coaches. Now when you've played someone, when you're going against someone like Coach Woodson, Coach McCaffrey coming up this weekend, Coach Painter, there's going to be adjustments. Nobody's just going to roll out there and do the same thing again. And we've tried to do that as well. You watch film, you try to see, okay, what are some things we did well against this team? Where did they hurt us? And what do we need to really shore up? And that kind of becomes the basis of what you do in these 2 games. I mean, we as coaches have always fought to have like multiple game day preps, You know, we very rarely have one-day preps in this league, and that's really helps the coaching and the scouting because you get multiple days to really kind of focus on tendencies, focus on favorites, and that's why if you don't make adjustments within a game, you'll get exposed. You know, because these coaches are too good and they know what they're doing, and you know, fortunately, having some older guys, we've been able to handle that pretty well.
Coach, Chase and Boo both had 11 points in the first half, and of course, Robbie, Ty combined for 13, but with the defense limited to Indiana to 20 points, right? So how do you give it more to the offense's production or the defense production, or just shows, you know, puts on a display of, you know, what we can be when both sides are close?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the first half we played fantastic. You know, I thought we had energy. Obviously, coming off the game Sunday, you worry about the residual effect. I didn't believe it would be there because of that crowd tonight and because of the respect we had for Indiana. But to come out that first half, too, and have that kind of energy and to turn them over and to get into our traps and then come down, I think we scored 39 points. I mean, it was a great half, you know, and you almost wish that the game was over at that point because you knew those guys were going to rally themselves. You don't win 8 out of 9 in this league without going down with a fight. I knew they were going to come out. I knew they were going to come after us. You know, like I said, I thought we had in the middle part of the second half, kind of in that 14-13 when it was still kind of 14-15, I thought we had 2 or 3, maybe even 4, like wide open 3 looks that maybe would have kept them at bay a little bit, but we missed them. And then they came down, they scored, we couldn't get stops. They made a couple threes. You know, you start feeling some game pressure. So, but that first half was fun to watch our guys to be able to bounce back from a big win Sunday and to be able to put those 20 minutes together. It shows a lot about the team.
Chris, obviously you have very talented guards, but watching you twice this year, the influence of Matthew Nicholson on their productivity, almost invariably somebody's getting hung up on his screens. Can you elaborate on what he means to their ability to produce those?
Yeah, I think Matt's development is probably one of the most, you know, untalked about things with our team because our guards have been so good, you know, but you're talking about a guy who really has sat for 2 years. You know, and he's worked and he's gotten stronger and changed his body, but hadn't had a chance to play. And I think a big reason why a lot of you guys were skeptical about our team, and rightfully so, was what was the interior going to look like. You know, you knew you had Chase, you knew you had Boo, you knew you had Robbie, Ty coming back, you know, Julian, who had played a lot. But, you know, what was the inside going to look like, you know, especially with the guys we play against in this conference. And the emergence of Matt this year, to me, has been great. His physicality in the paint, his shot blocking, his rebounding, you know, his effort, his screening, you know, and the more he plays, he's going to get better offensively. You know, that's part of the development, you know, for a lot of intensive purposes. This is freshman year, you know, because he really hasn't played in games like this in these minutes. And I give Titus credit too. You know, I think Titus has been a nice, you know, piece for us to kind of bring in as an older guy, a sixth-year senior who can kind of steady that position. I think both those guys are playing their roles very well. And you're going to look at the stat sheet, and they both had 2 points. And you're going to say, man, they didn't do anything. Well, no, they did a lot. You know, their energy, their ball screen defense, their screening to get our guards open. You know, I thought both those guys, Matt in particular, did a great job tonight against a very imposing front line.
I wanted to ask about Chase because he started 4 of 5 in the game, finished, I believe, 1 of 10.
Yeah.
Is there ever a thought of, you know, talking to him and being like, hey, it's time to impact the game in other ways, or does he just have that green light that says, okay, I expect you to shoot your way out of it like you did against Purdue?
Well, he has a green light as long as they're good ones, you know, and I thought he got off to a great start. But and he would be the first to tell you, you know, I thought with his matchup that he had down the stretch, I would have liked to see him attack the basket a little bit more. We need him to be aggressive. If he's not aggressive, that, you know, we need Boo and Chase to be aggressive. And we want them to be playmakers, and we trust them. I mean, they both have the green light to make plays. We just want to make sure, are they the right shots? Are they the right plays? Now, there's sometimes in a game where you have to, you know, last 5 seconds of a shot clock. You know, you might have to shoot a step back or make a tough shot. But I thought in the second half, you know, I don't think he took the best of shots, but, you know, that he kept playing D, you know, and that's what I love. I mean, I've said that all along. I mean, Chase, it all comes from a competitive spirit. He believes in himself. He believes he can make those plays. You know, he single-handedly offensively won us the game the other day when he just had missed the whole game and then went crazy the last 4 minutes. So I want him to stay confident. I want him to stay but continue. I think he's done a really good job this year of improving in a lot of those areas, and especially now that we get into these, really meaningful games here late, and as we approach postseason, you need those guys to really be great decision makers.
Coach, you talked about that sense of confidence that you guys have, that calm in these clutch situations when it hasn't necessarily been there in years past. Just do you attribute that to winning, to senior leadership? Just what goes into that?
Yeah, I think both. I think it's like I said. I mean, you guys know it's like anything. Like for me, like I felt like I could be. I was an assistant coach for a long time, under Coach K, and you're always like, man, I'm ready. I'm ready. I can do this. And then you get in that seat, and there are many times where you're like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. And it's like, you can only learn through your experiences. People can tell you. We can watch film and say, do this, do that. But until you go out there under the game, like, these kind of crowds, these kind of opponents, until you go out there and actually do it well, you're not going to have that kind of feeling. And this year, I don't know what our record is in one possession games or 5 points or less, but I think it's pretty good. We've lost a few. You're not going to win them all, but I've always said in this league, if you can win more close games than you lose, you'll be in pretty good shape. So to answer your question, it's experience, it's belief, it's confidence, but now it's also because of achievement. Like I said, I mean, these guys, and early in the year we played Auburn and we came up, it was 43-42 and we lost by 1. But we came out of that game and our guys were like, man, I think that game showed our guys we can be pretty good, because as talented as they were, and then we went to Michigan State a couple weeks later and got that win, and our guys were like, man, I think we could be pretty good. And I've just seen our confidence and belief continue to grow as the season has gone on.
Time for one more question. Alex?
Coach, you talked about that lead kind of being at 13, 14 points in the second half, but even though you valued the ball, even though you had 4 turnovers, how much did those early shot clock threes kind of feel like a turnover?
Yes.
Is that something you've got to clean up?
Yeah, I thought we took some bad ones. Like I said, I thought, there were probably 3, 4, 5 times I thought we could have attacked the basket, especially when you're not, it's one thing if you're making them, but we weren't. We go 8 for 33. And you never want to, for me, I've said it all along, I'm always very careful because I was a shooter. And when coaches put doubt in my head about when to shoot, when not to shoot, that can play mind games with a guy, especially if he's a good shooter. So I never want our guys to feel like they can't shoot. Our guys have the green light. I want them to take good shots. But that's where you got to kind of understand where the game's at. We haven't really been hitting. I thought they were closing out to 2 or 3 of those that we could have shot fake, driven in there, and either gotten a better shot in the paint or a more wide open 3. So, certainly for us guys, we're going to shoot threes. You look at our team and how we're made up. We're going to shoot threes, but we have to continue to find, because we were 14 for 14 from the free throw line. So how can we continue to find ways to get ourselves to the free throw line, because that's a big strength of ours as well. All right, appreciate you guys. See you Sunday.
I was so shocked to let us go.
Everybody, we're joined by Northwestern's Boo Buie and Chase Audige, who are into questions with players. So, right?
Can you just take us through what you saw on that last shot, the sequence to hold the ball and then attack to your left?
Yeah, the coaches kept saying to force me left, and so I seen that they were trying to do that, and I was just thinking in my head, I got to get a shot. So coach told me wait till the last 5 seconds, so I was just sitting there patiently waiting, thinking about what I was going to do. I was thinking for really long, but I didn't know what I was going to do, so I just started attacking left, seeing that he opened his foot, and then I switched directions, got back down to my right hand, and I was able to get to my spot and raise up and make the shot.
Boo, it's been a great week for you, obviously, personally. Big game winner today. Where would you say that ranks all time in your moments at Northwestern?
Yeah, definitely, it's got to be up there for sure, because the past seasons we've been very, very not good at all. So definitely in this winning season, you know, I've had great moments here throughout my career, but just the fact that we're winning games this year is making it even more special.
For either of y'all, Coach Collins, before you left, said y'all were going to make the tourney at this point. Can you just speak about what that journey's been like over the last 3 years, especially like getting these 2 wins over 2 top 14 teams?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Especially coming to the year, everybody kind of saying with Pete and Ryan Young leaving, saying, you know, we're not going to be anything, putting us in the bottom as they've done every single year we've been here. And just knowing the hard work we've put in, and me and Boo was literally just talking about before we walked in here, just like my sit-out year, Boo's first year getting 3 wins in the Big Ten, and 2 of them against Nebraska, and then that next year just getting a little better, and then last year getting a little better, and then us coming into this year just with every chip stacked against us and just believing in us, not listening to nobody, not caring what nobody says about us individually as a team, and just doing what we're doing, and we're continuing doing. Like it's not the end of the season. Like we still got more work to do, but it's just like it's a blessing for real. Like God is so good, and we're gonna continue to stay hungry and do what we got to do. But we just got to continue to do what we got to do.
Speaking to that, you know, after last season, there had to be a statement that Chris was coming back, and there was so much around the program. What does it mean for you guys playing for? You're obviously playing for yourselves, but also seeing the success that you have with Coach, all this going through, and kind of
you know, I'm super happy for everybody who decided to stay and stick it out with Coach. Coach is a really good guy and a really good coach. You know, he kind of gets the short end of the stick because, unfortunately, we are Northwestern, and it's a little bit harder to have good sports just as far as the academics go. So I don't think the public eye really can see that all the time. But, you know, Coach has been with us from the jump. You know, he's done a great job of just making us all feel very, very loved and connected. He's done an excellent job of building relationships individually, just connecting more with the guys. And I think that's really helped this season. You know, it's allowing him to be himself, allowing him to coach the way he wants to coach, and everybody can respond to it respectfully and understanding, you know, with there being that relationship built previously. So, you know, credit to him. He's a grinder. He knows his stuff, and I'm super happy for him.
Yeah, Chase, you had 11 points midway through the first half on 3 for 3 from deep. How important was it to sort of have that really fast burst at the beginning, sort of for the whole team?
I was kind of just reading the defense. They were going under a lot of screens, and you know, when people go under, we're taught to just make them pay and shoot it. And I hit my first couple shots, and it felt good. Kind of went cold in the second half, but you know, this guy right next to me picked everybody up and did what he had to do. But I mean, yeah, just play hard, do what I got to do on the defensive end, and those 11 points just came because I was trying to play within the game.
With the win against #1 Purdue on Sunday, what kind of, in between that game and this game, how did you guys approach that? There's so much emotion coming from that game, and then you guys started out so fast in this one. How did you reset before this game?
Yeah, I think just coming off last game's win, you know, it kind of gave us just a extra confidence booster. You know, beating the #1 team in the country that literally tells you can play with anybody and can beat anybody in the country on any given night. So it just reminded us to go play super hungry and play super confident because, you know, we're capable of things that no one expects. And so with that being said, as if we would have got our ass kicked by Purdue, you know, we would have came back the next day like we got to move on to Indiana. So, you know, in this league, it's such a tough league. Like, you see, we got on them, and then they made one hell of a comeback, and we were able to pull it out. But it's just that league. Like, you got to be ready from the jump, and you got to be ready all the way throughout the 40 minutes. So, you know, kind of just having that on to the next play mentality.
You're now sole second place in the Big Ten. You two are the only teammates that are in the top 10 in league scoring. Do you think you're the best backcourt in the Big Ten?
I think we're the best backcourt in the country.
Simple.
So much of your guys' time here at Northwestern for both of you has been so linked in the way you guys have matured together, and so much is made of being like the only Big Ten backcourt or Big Ten players to have only over 15 points a game. Can you guys speak a little bit about both personally, off the court, and on the court, the chemistry that makes that so successful between the two of you?
Want to talk about it?
Could you repeat it? That was a lot. That was a lot.
Yeah, sorry, that was a lot. Can you just speak about both on and off the court, how the two of your chemistry has allowed you guys to be so successful?
Yeah, so me and Chase are captains, and in the off season, we did a lot of the leading of and organizing of the team and what we wanted them to go through as far as outside of basketball and what the coaches were making us do. We did a real good job of doing a lot of bonding time, making sure guys were with each other a lot, doing a lot of hanging out getting to know you just to a deeper level so that, when you go out there and battle, you can trust them. And, if you got a bunch of disconnected guys, you can't be a really good team. And, in past years, we've been disconnected out there. And so I think just with us at the leadership, of getting everyone together and making, kind of forcing this habit of you're going to be around your brother, I think that's really helped us a lot.
IU Twitter thinks you pushed off on the game winner.
That's IU Twitter.
Boo, you talked about how, the win against Purdue makes you, look, or Northwestern can play with anybody, right? And then playing in this game, you guys had a great lead in the first half, were doing everything, hitting on all cylinders, and in the second half, you still pull it out with a close game, right? Can you talk about, do you feel like that shows the potential of this team, or just shows to the world that, how dangerous you guys can be?
Yeah, I mean, I said it after last game. I think more people need to wake up. This isn't luck. It can't be luck at this point. So that with that being said, it's just not luck. So but this is, like I said before, this is a really tough league. So we got up on them early, and you see, in a matter of minutes, they can come back and it can be a ball game. So just staying focused on the main goal, which is winning.
Going back to your guys' last game at Iowa, that one did not go your way. Just what are some takeaways you guys took from that game, and how do you hope to implement that on Sunday?
I think we had a lot of breakdowns at the end of the game with, I forgot what the stat was, but I think they had 20 points in the last 4 or 6 minutes or something like that. And that was obviously make or break with us in that game. So I think we just got to be more solid defensively. And, they're a really good team. The way that they play is really hard to guard and very different than the past two teams we've played. So we just got to lock in defensively and just follow the game plan coaches tell us.
Talking about avoiding breakdowns at the end of the game, both of you guys are consistently big-minute guys. Boo, you played 37 minutes today. Chase, you played 33. Is there anything in particular you guys do to try and, avoid the fatigue that will set in when you play that much, or is it just not something you think about during the game?
It can't be something that we think about. I think you just got to play extremely hard every minute that you're on the court. If you do let it for a second, that's when your man scores, and that's when you end up making a mistake by trying to save your energy. And I think me and Boo definitely have a lot of pressure on us just by other teams and just for our own team to make a lot of plays. So our mindset is just to be in attack mode and just to give everything out on the court. And we have a day to rest after. We couldn't rest all we want after the game, so we're really not thinking about resting when we're on the court.
Last question, back right.
Was there any point early in the season where it crystallized for both of you guys that, hey, it's possible that we can do something special this year, and you call yourself the best backcourt in the country? What's this team, in your mind, capable of come middle of March?
You're just gonna have to see.
Yeah, we don't really do the talking. We kind of just come out, just work on ourselves, stay connected, and go out there and try to win as our team.
All right, then wrap us up. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.